morsels and club patrons. Oh no. I may have already broken it. Never mind, I fix it. Anyway. The last time I played
dodged death
this,
many a time. And that night in Abilene was no different.
I was drunk. But now that I'm sober, I can win.
I was there with the intention of finding that bastard Bob and collecting the bounty on John Wesley.
I forgot the controls, actually. Moderately. Hand your bullets to care, smash or like loco during a reload. Size this one. Alright, here is my... Stick your head up there. Someone's over there. Guess I'll have to move closer. I am getting shot to hell.
I thought the Texas Rangers got heart.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe.
Oh, I have a quick shooter.
It was cold
out
and a witch's tit and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres.
The fuck
The very same saloon we're sitting in today.
Everyone is dead.
Look around and imagine this place painted in blood. Hardin was waiting for me, and
Whoops, I interrupted the dialogue. Hi, Pretzel. I am.
let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch.
We assume.
He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer.
Wait,
By the
that
end, he
night
confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob
Have
was
a good
among
night,
them.
Pretzel.
Shit, it's cold out here. Shoot that son of a bitch!
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. As most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun.
Girl.
I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends. Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head.
I cannot shoot the horses.
Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcome presence.
Ow.
Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that.
Have a good sleep, Pretzel, if you're still there. Headshots.
Tell Hardin someone's coming for him.
Someone's above my head, I think.
Stop that son of a bitch! Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I wondered
Headshot.
if Bob was among them.
Probably not.
And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better.
I don't know what direction I'm going exactly. I hope I'm going the right way. this seems like not. Or there is no way this is the right way. This doesn't feel right. Where the fuck am I? Where have I gone? Where did I go? Ow, my legs. God damn, Silas, your legs are weak. This way? Maybe I'll follow the road. That would make sense. In at least one direction, at least it makes sense. Or I can get lost again, that works too. No people to shoot, just cows. Anyone in the barn? Nope. I'm so lost. Where the fuck? Well, this isn't good. Oh, well, there's the town. I guess I gotta get over there. Only problem is I've already been this way. I am so lost right now. There is nowhere to go that way because the hill's in the way. Ow. Haven't been up here yet. Oh boy. I've killed all the outlaws. There's no more outlaws to kill. I'm gonna load the checkpoint because something's fucky here.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers.
Alright, I was not paying attention where the bullet was going. That was my fault. Where am I? The town is uphill, apparently.
Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story. I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
What's the melee button again? Alright, I need to figure that out. That would be kind of important. Fire aim, that's F. Why couldn't I F? Now it works. Let's try it. Headshot. 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 Straight up. Headshot. Gotcha, bitch. Why, I think I am a crazy bastard.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon.
After committing mass murder.
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
This gun does not do very much damage.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
Gotcha. Skill point. Let's see. Cool. I'm taking a 6-shooter.
Son of a bitch.
What was that?
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Do I have time to get my drink before I face the fastest gun left? First kill. Kill the man for so right here.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him.
What is this bullshit?
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back at a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Did I not... Did... what?
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Episode 5, Grey Wolf. Oh no.
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, Revenge was also his primary motivation.
I'd imagine. Silas Greaves pursued dangerous outlaws like John Wesley Hardin, hoping it would help lead him to Bryant. The California Gold Rush started in the middle of the 19th century and attracted people from all over the globe. Tried to kill the shielder by shooting through the hole in the shield by using dynamite.
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven.
Interesting description there, Silas.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death.
That's unfortunate. Shit.
Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move.
Am I about to get attacked by
He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
I looked away for half a second.
They saw me before I saw them.
Yeah. Gonna have to try harder than that to kill me. Bitch.
And it crossed my mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
It's a great idea. What do you think? Gotcha. This thing's made of gold. It looks like this. Who is shooting me from where?
It was rugged country, the winter home
This
of the
gun does a lot of
Chiricahuas.
damage. I like it.
And that's why they had retreated there. I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
I'm liking this. His body is clipping through the rocks and making some weird noises. Where do I go? I think I'll stay on this side. Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
Now that is how you slaughter.
A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you went in there.
Of course I
Yeah,
went in
but it's
there.
not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness.
Angry cussedness. I'm gonna get ambushed to fucking here. Oh, I don't think I should go down there. Should have brought a shotgun for this.
see, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the wall.
Well, the enemies come from here, so I'll go this way. I am liking this revolver.
How big was his cave?
Yes.
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian War.
Alright, I'm gonna die.
They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more
There's
concerned
only
with the
haunted
live
ones I'm
ones
done
than the dead ones.
I kind of find it more fun just to hold one.
How come you know so much about engines?
A
Because
few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
it's called polygamy.
So what happened?
You fuck.
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death.
I think I've been in Cave of Death this whole time. How deep is this water? Well,
I
this is
came
a boss
upon
battle.
this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
I don't have a soul, Chief.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me.
Oh no. Where the fuck am I now?
As his story unfolded in my mind.
You will come to this place again. There are many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul will have no rainbow. I have no tears.
He said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and the echo of the song of their dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes.
That was
And
quite
indeed,
the combo.
his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Listen, fellas. I don't take kindly to being surrounded. How did that miss?
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Uh-huh. Sure.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get
Shit.
where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back.
I slipped.
I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as
Yes.
you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
Like 5 or 6, I would say. Oh, hi there. I wonder if I can grab everything.
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it,
There he is.
that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trick?
Shit.
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches around.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Bitch. Who's next? I am glad that their aim sucks.
And in the end, a
Shit.
path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Alright.
I
You say
followed
so?
it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
He's a wolf.
Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty.
I killed 100 people. I think he was right. I think there were 100 Indians up there.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem, might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
Oh, cool. So who are you, Ben? I've heard Ben's voice.
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course.
Let me guess, it's so
I
coffee
was
and
one of the
Coffeeville?
citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the right.
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Man, this makes me want to play Red Dead Redemption 2, but I don't have it. Not that I could stream it because I don't have a capture card. I guess I should reiterate, I do have it, but it's on my PlayStation.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up.
Pretty ambitious to rob 3 banks at once. I mean, 2
Well,
banks
the
at once.
locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
That was fun. Can't go through that door. There's a secret somewhere in here. Is it in the next room? It's gotta be in the next room. Nice top hat.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently.
Listen here.
First of all,
fucker.
it was high noon.
Of course it
A
was high
posse
noon.
of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. But those boys had a reputation as stone-cold killers, so the marshals took every precaution, knowing they wouldn't go easy. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. You just gotta wait for something.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
How do I get off this roof?
He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Yes.
Where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind.
Close quarters, may as well take the shotgun.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Above?
From above.
Okay,
Fortunately, a water tower was right there. A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
what danger? I'm just climbing a ladder. I'm very good at this play.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
I did not jump, so I'm glad I made it.
We've got company. God damn you!
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Alright, how do I get out of this room?
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch! One sorry son of a bitch!
You're one dead son of a bitch.
You know you can't beat me.
What was that, punk?
Now you're really pissing me off. I'm gonna kill you dead.
You can try. Whoops.
Over there!
Don't know where you came from when I murdered that
Silas
tiny.
Greaves! What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Um. Let's see what I can get for this. I'll grab this because it's useful. Any nuggets out here?
His name is Silas
I
Greaves.
didn't get 3 headshots
And when the
that
dust
time.
finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it
I
happened.
fucking knew it. God damn it, Dwight.
It was early evening, not high noon.
I saw the shotgun clips.
I was late to the party, and Coffeyville was already up in arms. The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. Bending you!
They're the lover, the loser.
I'd been
Dalton
tracking
brothers.
those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. Boy, you are. Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville. You can't get me.
I need a rifle.
Oh, now what?
That's now what, dumb fucking idiot. That one this way, right? Yeah, there's one.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. The problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. It happens.
That always tells the story a lot better. I desperately need a rifle. Rifle.
That's it for you. Here we go.
It's in the other room, isn't it? Is it downstairs? Ain't no nugget up here. Ah. Found it. Back to my
The
adventure.
Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Whoops. What? So what am I supposed to do here? Oh no. This sucks. I don't understand. There we go.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Reeves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Stupid bitch.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
I did. Did you just see how many times I shot this motherfucker?
But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
God damn. Over the years, Silas Greaves became a famous bounty hunter. His main ambition, however, was to get his revenge on Bob Rankins. Fucking Bob. There are 3 types of ammo. I would imagine, with only 3 types of gun.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
We'll track him to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws.
They're
But
gonna
as we
turn on
headed
me,
into
aren't
those
they?
swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you have the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course. So we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Oh, the fog's setting in. I wonder if there's gonna be any gators.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color.
What the hell?
Red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Let's... It seems to just be meandering back and forth right now. Uh-oh.
Where they stand?
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanted to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
I mean...
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Yeah, kind of suspicious, don't you think?
So did you find the Daltons?
No.
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends. The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Who's next? I have bullets for everyone. Oh, my engraved ranger. It does all damage.
Point being, I was under serious attack.
Oh shit!
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
I don't imagine a shotgunner is gonna hurt me much when he's that far away from me. Alright, I got a skill point. What shall we put it in?
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view, but just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them.
That looks like the posse that was supposed to
That goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
God damn it,
Indians
Steve.
surrounded me from all sides.
What the fuck?
There were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp.
Figured.
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Steve.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Stop that,
What?
son bitch!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Yeah, but I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking
Ah, I
about.
shot his hat. You sure about that?
Somebody kill that son bitch!
Book your head out.
Waste your bullets. Go ahead.
Book your head out. Idiots. You should just shoot around it without looking. That would go so much better. How'd I miss? I don't know where I'm being shot from. How did that miss?
Hell's a coming.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Am I out of the swamp yet? No. Running
That's
along.
when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Because water
Yes, it
changes.
floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
I fucking knew it. Oh shit, this isn't good. Oh no. Where is this son of a bitch? Where are you hiding? Fuck it out. Called it from the start of the vigilantes who turn on me.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
You'll notice how quickly I was distracted and decided not to go for the secret.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's
Have
the
a
kind of
seat,
man
Mr.
I am,
Shotgunner.
Ben. I set out to do something. I'd do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
I don't trust walking past that barrel when it's right fucking there. Hello?
And that asshole just killed me.
This way.
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
I don't trust you.
Turned out that they had me.
Yep, I knew it.
I'm sending you to hell.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle.
I figured.
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you
fight.
hear about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally it was time to settle this once and for all.
This is kind of fun to get. Oh, I'm a dead man. Anyone else?
Bob and Grad weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together.
They can get shredded to fucking pieces.
Two
together.
brothers side by side, determined to take
serious?
me down.
What is this garbage?
Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
I didn't dodge. I saw the bullet. So he draws first.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later. He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
I think I have a skill point. I can put it in the next level.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
Episode 7, The Wild Bunch, Juarez, 1868.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose.
You were cheating,
I
weren't
even
you,
won an
Silas?
old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
I wonder how much Silas has had to drink while telling this story. Not so great train robbery. Led by Butch Cassidy and a Sundance Kid, the Wild Bunch was the West's last famous outlaw gang. In close quarters, combination with two sawed-off shotguns can do catastrophic damage. I would imagine so. They are sawed-off shotguns.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
Oh, right, let's go point. Probably should have grabbed fast rifle reload. That's what I was going for before. Whoops.
Led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
All right. Now that has been
You were
checked.
part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop.
Well, the train fell down a ravine.
Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Oh god. Sawed-off rifle. Where did I get this, or is this new? Oh, I have to check. No, I've unlocked 2 revolvers, so this is new.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
I
I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
I want to switch back to my rifle. Hello.
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
What's up, bitch?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
I am so sorry that I pissed you off. Where to now?
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Ow.
At times, it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Talk about getting fucked.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
No. Doubt it. Grand Posse versus the Wild Bunch. I couldn't read all those, there's too many names.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat!
Uh-oh. There's nothing in here.
He's killing everybody to meet your maker. Kill us all!
Oh, I fell off the train.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left. I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Then why are you still running at me? Idiots.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
And now you die.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
Since it lets me dodge now, maybe I should stop doing this honorable kills. But who the fuck
They ended
cares
up
about
living
honor?
down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
No idea how long this game is. Silas Greaves claims as relentless pursuit of Bob Bryant forced the years of the Wild Bunch to flee South America. 130 to hell. What does that mean? When the combat lasts longer, trigger concentration, reload the gun, and keep shooting. Yeehaw.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared.
5 years after
Sometime
the train
later, I
robbery.
heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kind of crazy, ain't he?
Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
Who's shooting? We're under fire!
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
I'm done with you.
Your first mistake was sticking your head out.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
Would that clue be here at the camp?
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
Well, train trestle. I don't know what that is, but... Oh no.
The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports.
Uh-oh.
Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children.
God damn.
Though some say it was only 5.
Oh, fuck.
Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards.
I'd imagine shooting...
A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
Ow. I guarantee you, I'm actually going to shoot some dynamite at some point.
We don't kill him. It'll kill us.
shotgunner. Oh no.
So what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
How did I not accidentally shoot that tight?
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
So
That
that
was
was
sweet.
all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually, there was a fourth charge
I'm
impeding my
glad I did not shoot those
progress.
barrels.
Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
They weren't kidding about the armor. I'm about to die.
So I proceeded onward. I realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
So I went up the ramp. Where the hell am I?
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me.
Oh,
It was a
no.
long, burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it.
Uh-oh.
The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks.
Fuck!
My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer. Of course, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die.
It's it's not the corridor you gotta worry about, it's a fucking fall to your head.
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion.
I don't know how I fucked that up.
But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and
Fuck.
dragging my
Not again.
ass as I was not a young man anymore.
Excuses, Silas.
Kill that SOB!
Oh shit.
I can't believe!
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Beast Tracer and Kid Curry asked me! Nuttier than a damn fruitcake!
Skill point, you say?
See that?
Fuck you.
Gonna be loud!
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun.
Oh, this
It was
bullshit
hidden
again.
in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Approaching this thing is gonna be hard.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Alright, I cannot throw it anywhere.
You know who I am? You can't beat me.
Alright, so I have to throw from that rock at the front. Okay.
Time for you to lay down and die. Damn! What are you, yellow? Are you kidding me? God damn it, I need some help here. You know who I am. Come on, boys. Take this sumbitch out. He's done.
I need to get to this dynamite.
This is the last mistake you'll ever make. Stupid contraption. That smells like a kill you. Ah! Shit! Like this cop says, beat me. Move it, boys. Beat that bastard. Give me a hand here, goddammit.
Gonna cut you a new
Ah, shit.
Time for you to lay down and die.
This is gonna hurt.
That's up. You know who I am.
Shit.
Hold me off while I reload.
Take all of the dynamite.
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. That's when I met Kid Curry himself.
He
He
survived
had decided
that.
to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Alright then.
As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
Alright, either the game is glitched
And
or
as he lay wounded, I
has two
demanded
holsters.
to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
That was awesome.
Those were his last words.
That was awesome. Dodged and shot him. I think I've dishonorably killed literally everyone up to this point.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger
I
gang.
don't think we care about Jim.
Did I neglect to mention that?
Yes, you did. Jesse James.
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
Death ride to Steel Stallion. According to Silas, none of his brother's murderers robbed trains with Jesse James. Improve your rifle aiming capabilities with the steady aim skill. Here we go.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way.
This is where the
But
fun
I knew I'd have to
begins.
fight my way forward if I was gonna find this gem.
Ah, fucking lucky for you.
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
It hasn't
Well, the
stopped
James
yet.
boys were experts at this.
Oh no. He's changing the story. Legend was he could stop the train by staring it down. I believe it.
They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that.
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them
Where's
all
the dynamite?
on by your lonesome. Again, I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell? Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
Do I just keep going? Silas?
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas
Oh,
Greaves?
is it
I
gonna
think he's
loop?
just some old drunk looking for some free
It's gonna
liquor.
loop until he gets back, isn't it?
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Boy, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be two bread short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Yes.
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof. At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
It's a damn Pinkerton!
Alright, where's that
I
bitch?
never
Kill that.
worked for that lightning kind of stuff. But I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. It was no wonder
How
each
did
and every
this?
asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Excusez-moi? What? I need to get into the train. It's not safe out here.
Show yourself, coward!
You don't want to mess with us!
guy steps slightly to the right.
It
and
was
fell
a
off the
rickety
train.
ride and quite precarious.
That's why I fell off the train like 9 times.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Fuck you, Jack.
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember.
I bet you are.
Listen here, you piece of shit. I don't like your attitude. Owie.
You don't want to mess with us! I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
Whoops.
I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
I need a fucking angle. Christ. I am running out of bullets on my rifle. Despite not even using my rifle. That much. Do I care?
I'm fine, I'm fine. Now you're really pissing me off. You can't fight James, gang.
Why are there so many of these sons of bitches? Was I supposed to spin the fucking... Jesus.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
Sit down, gentlemen. I don't
There sure
understand how
were a
their
lot of
armor
men
works.
determined to die that day. It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train.
Oh no! It occurred to me what I had to do at that moment. You go right. You duck. You go far left.
I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
I can't get through the fire to reach him.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah, Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
Who cares
I figure
about
he
Jim?
was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first, I need to wet my whistle.
I got the headshot award. Jesse James was murdered in 1882 by Robert Ford, and survivors of his gang rallied around his less well-known brother Frank. He used dynamite against enemies hiding behind obstacles. The blast doesn't kill them, this will at least scare them out of their hiding place. Or, you know, I'll just shoot them. In the head.
After my showdown with Jesse,
Repeatedly.
I continued to track his brother, Frank, and that son-of-a-bitch Jim.
My son bitch.
I followed those bastards into the high mountains as they were going to ground.
What mountains would that be?
Somewhere in the Ozarks, I believe. The perfect place to hide out from the authorities. In fact,
it's
before I
Indians
could
again.
find them, some Indians who fled the Reds and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were.
Engines?
Yeah, they could have been Cheyenne, but there was all sorts of renegades roaming the landscape back then.
What is that ability that I have right there? Is it my steady aim? I don't imagine it would be. Is it my focus? Oh wait, that's probably my bulletproof. Since every fourth bullet bounces off, I think that's my bulletproof. I want Executioner, so we'll go towards that for now.
Hey, how about another whiskey, Ben? Nothing better to soothe the troubled soul. Now, where was I? Indians, right. I had more than my share of run-ins with the Red Man. Like that time... Did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Ah, of course I did. In fact, I can still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, go back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul.
Oh hey, it's that
You will
place
come
we
to
was
this
talking
place
about.
again and kill many more men.
He wasn't wrong, because we're here.
consumes everything you are.
So, did you ever find it? Who? The man you are after.
Let me ask you something, Ben. You ever think about death?
Mr. Greaves, are you all right?
Probably not.
Ooh, death. Oh, death. Won't you spare me over till another year? What is this that I can't see with ice cold hands taking hold
I'm
of
gonna
me?
assume that Twitch is going to get angry about
I
this, because
am
Twitch doesn't like
death,
music. But
none can
oh, hey, it's raining.
tell.
if I just talk
I'll
over it,
open
then
the
everything is
door
fine, right?
to heaven or
Oh, this. Are you fucking serious with the rocks? Can I just hide? I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna need you to shut up, Ben. Alright. Let's see if death will spare me. Either that or I'm supposed to run towards it. But right
So, are
now,
you gonna answer the
it's gonna
question?
it's gonna bounce
What
into me,
question
isn't
is
it?
that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find it?
Reed was indeed that son bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. He was intent on avoiding my vengeance, but nothing was gonna stop me. Nothing.
I think Silas is getting drunk finally. Frank James. Why? This isn't Jim Reed. 1 second, I have to check something that's on Discord. Cool. Moving on.
I finally did track those outlaws down. They had long rifles with scopes and were well positioned to pick off any poor soul who came anywhere close.
I'm not one shot, am I? This is some bullshit right here. Where to next?
I'm guessing Frank James believed I was responsible for the demise of his brother Jesse. I couldn't really disagree with the man, as I thought Jesse was dead then as well. He backed off as I closed in on him, but he was still intent on killing me. And when I closed in on him again, he backed off again, looking for a better angle.
Holy shit. Oh. Fuck. That's my dodge bullet chance. Got it. Where am I? Ow. So, a couple shots, and I can take about 2 or 3 shots before he actually lands a hit. And then I can take 2 bullets. Sorry, my commentary is starting to fall apart, but
I can't fault Frank for wanting his revenge, as I was there for the same damn reason myself. At this point, I'm guessing you think Silas Greaves is a worse murderer than Jim Reed ever was.
No, sir.
A man who spent half his
I didn't know where
life
to hide.
killing somebody's
know if
brothers,
you'll still shoot or not.
fathers, sons.
I think you were just looking for justice, sir.
Is that what I was looking for, Dwight? Is that what it was? Justice?
piece of shit.
Isn't
Dropping
that why
rocks
you were
in my
hunting the
head.
James gang?
Ow.
Right. I finally found Frank holed up in his mountain cabin, and he was determined to have me dead.
Oh shit. Alright, I don't think I can hit him, so I think I just have to run forward and pray. Oh, hi, Aqua. Cover, 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 cover.
It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite. On your person.
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared.
Right.
I'm just laying out the facts as I remember them, Jack.
Please, some of that reaches. Alright. Now I just spam over.
That son of a bitch! Take him out! He's just one man! Put him down! I want that bastard dead!
Fuck you. Alright, time for more dynamite. Let's see if that hits.
That old shack? Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
Really makes you wonder how much of this Silas is making up.
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life! Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will! At this point, I just don't give a shit!
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him! I never did like that bastard! I am done here!
The old cowboy tail.
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.
Moving right along. Now that I don't have Frank sniping at me, this will be more fun. No, I can do the sniping.
I was determined not to let that murderer escape my revenge again.
So what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookouts. But rather than wander in willy-nilly, I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. Hey, Reed! I shouted. No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr. While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole Younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but very friendly. At least she was to me.
Son of a bitch!
That was beautiful.
It was then that the last bunch of bandits jumped out of hiding.
Why won't this asshole give up? Would someone please kill him?
That was amazing. You didn't even deny it. You just said son of a bitch. He knows it's true. Oh, I hate when I miss because I'm aiming slightly too high. Skill point though. You missed a really fun moment earlier, Aqua. That thing in the right corner, it means that I can dodge a bullet when I'm about to die. And there was a scripted dodge where I dodged a bullet and headshot the guy. I think I can do that normally, but it's kind of hard to pull off because Silas gains the last too many dodges.
Eventually, it was just me and Reed.
This golden rifle has 12 bullets.
I had waited a long time to face him down, so I could repay him for what he did to my brothers.
I hate the duels. Oh my god! Jesus Christ, he shoots fast. I got him too, but I was not expecting that. Oh, I found the sweet spot. There it is. Bitch.
And repay him I did.
I think that's the fastest I've ever pulled out my revolver because I didn't understand until now how the hell that works. I can dodge bullets during the duels, but I would rather just kill them. I don't care about them.
I don't know about you boys,
Also, how
but
the
I'm pretty
fuck
basic.
does honor work in a fucking duel?
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame you never had to pay.
Yeah, I'd assume the way the duels realistically work is
Well,
you just
funny
kind of stare at
thing
each
about
other
that,
and then eventually someone will pull a gun.
I did have one more chance at him.
Akla, I want you to clip that tie, because that
6
was
months
beautiful.
ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob Bryant had returned with them.
Oh,
So
Roscoe
you're
Bob
saying they
Bryant.
didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying.
There was a duel earlier where I had to kill 2 people. That was interesting because the one in the back drew first, and I died because I went for the one in the front. Silas quickly died. I didn't read that. The good, the bad, and the dead. I think I asked this earlier, but I'm still curious.
40
why
years
this
I
game
had
is.
waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of
Barely
demons
6
could have
months
stopped
ago.
me now.
Uh-oh.
Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly. But the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant. That son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he had to be close to 70.
But for all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind, as did others. For instance, did my thirst for vengeance turn me into something worse than the man I was after? By this point in my storied career, I had killed more men than Bob Bryant ever had.
And I'm gonna kill 10,000
I was furious as hell at that bastard for making me who I am.
Holy shit.
Nothing could stop me from taking his life. I've been after that killer forever. From the time I rode with Billy the Kid. But that chapter of my story you already know.
Chapter of that fairy tale, you mean?
Listen here, Jack. No one likes
Suddenly
your
it was
opinion. Shut up.
1910. Here I was, an old man, roaming a ghost town dead almost 2 decades. The town was falling apart, just like me.
Where do I go? Never mind. Nice try.
But I wasn't about to call it quits.
Good job, gentlemen.
Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long ago.
Mr. Graves, are you all right?
No.
Would you like some water?
The Wild Bunch knew I was there. They were after a treasure they had hidden before they fled, buried in the grave of a dead amigo. I intended to fill that grave with Bob Bryant's corpse. Like I said,
you can grab it,
the
or
bandits
I can
knew I
grab
was
it. One of
onto
us can
them.
grab the clip after
They
I
lured me
finish
in
streaming.
and hit me with everything they had.
Kill that old timer!
Ah, the dynamite.
That old fart ain't right in the head.
Oh, you're an interesting dynamite man. You're throwing 2 at once. I am pinned down. Why do these guys have so much health?
But you obviously prevailed since you're sitting here telling us.
Actually, in that moment, I did not prevail.
I
So I
survived.
suppose we're talking to a ghost.
Funny you should put it like that, Jack. Because when I woke up,
From the dead?
there was silence all around me.
What the? Where's
I could swear to God I saw Billy then.
Billy who?
the kid?
Billy, the kid. William Bonney. He was shooting at me from a rooftop. Here, there, even over there.
So I am right. You are touched in the head.
Fuck you, Jack.
Mr. Graves, perhaps we should switch you to coffee?
You see that old Indian again, too?
No,
As a matter of
but
fact,
I did see
I did.
Billy's killer, Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me guns ablazing.
Ow.
But I knew that old war horse had died 2 years before. I wondered if maybe I was dead too and confronting the ghosts of my past. Perhaps all my sins were coming back to haunt me and drag me down to perdition. I saw Henry Plummer throw dynamite at me.
Yeah, when they called this a ghost town, they weren't kidding, huh?
And in the gates of the cemetery, I saw John Wesley Hart, just like I remembered him.
Oh no, it's the consequences of my actions racing up to kill me.
Robert Ollinger appeared with his terrible double-barrel shotgun. But no ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a fallen branch. He spent the rest of his life talking to dogs.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead.
Not Old Man Clinton. Not Curly Bill and other Curly Bill. Oops.
The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond.
What the actual fuck is happening?
Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed, each one deader than the next. I thought I would go crazy.
I think you're already crazy.
Finally, I saw Harry Alonzo Longabaugh.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his Legion of the Dead.
You told us
Oh, this is
before that
good.
you've seen him alive.
He was alive.
Ooh. This motherfucker is resilient. Ow. 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 He looks like Dutch, doesn't he? Look at him. Oh shit! There we go.
Then I heard a voice call to me from afar.
Holy moly.
It was Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog.
Oh no.
Thanks for taking care of that bastard.
It's a zombie. Oh no. Oh no. This isn't gonna end well. Oh fuck,
But the
we got a
kid
Mexican
wasn't quite
standoff.
deceased. Not yet.
Takes more than one little bullet to kill the likes of me.
One little bullet, I filled
Those
you
two
with like
looked like they
100.
hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you.
You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them about Bob Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
This is not good.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life?
You frittered it all away, Butch. Etta's mine. So is that damn money.
I'm just here, I guess.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question, but those boys didn't give me much of a choice.
Oh fuck. Ah shit. Who's looking at me right now? Butch? I can't focus if they're not looking at me. Butch? Don't do it, Butch. I don't like this. Shit. Oh, fuck.
Butch
Gotcha.
Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Whew. That was terrifying. Because I can't get my focus up unless they're looking at me. And I also have to manage my fucking hand. I have
Butch
to keep the
Cassidy
hand
and the
above the hilt.
Sundance Kid were killed by the Bolivian army. Everybody knows that.
That's the legend, but it ain't the truth.
So, you never found Bob?
There is no Bob. This old sumbitch ain't even Silas Greaves.
Sir, is that true? Have you been pulling our legs this whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
Oh, man, I think you've worn out your welcome
Go
here.
fuck yourself,
Maybe
Jack.
you're right, Jack. Maybe it's time to pay. You see,
Wait.
Ben, or should I say Bob, your past always catches up with you.
Uh-oh.
I was a different man back then, crazy. Drinking, I've changed my ways, I swear to you. If I could turn back the clock,
But
He
you
was
can't,
here the whole
Bob.
time. Sorry, Bob. Were I anyone else, he would live. But I am me.
Why'd you toy with me like that? Telling those tales, knowing all along. Why not just lay your cards on the table?
Here. I won't have it said that I left you with nothing.
That's how you want it? So be it.
Don't worry, Bob, you'll only kill me about 2 or 3 times.
Right, Molly, move against that wall. Go!
Oh, this is a proper duel. I don't have the HUD. Sorry, Bob.
Oh my god! Oh, Jesus!
I'm a dishonorable girl. You had it coming.
Did you know it was him all along?
Cassidy told me Bob was in Abilene before he died. But I wasn't sure Ben was my man until he revealed how much he knew about Ringo and Reed. The coin, of course. Well, that was the last nail in that particular coffin.
I better go get the sheriff.
You okay, boy? You're looking mighty shook up.
Dwight, maybe you best go home. Young Eisenhower here is leaving for West Point tomorrow. He shouldn't get caught up in something like this.
I think I might head out myself at this juncture. Unless you want to stop me, Jack.
No, sir, Mr. Greaves.
So where you going now? Now that you had your revenge?
Doesn't really matter, does it? As I've sold my soul for it, and will never again walk with those I have lost.
I didn't think I was gonna beat it so quickly. That was interesting. I like that game though. That was pretty fun. If I click duel, what happens? There are other Call of Juarez games, but maybe I should get some of the other Call of Juarez games. Alright, well, that's that. So, thank you all for watching, and I gotta make sure I grab that clip as soon as I remember where it was. I will see you all later today, actually, because I'm going to stream again when the sun comes up. Till then, bye Aqua, bye chats. Away I go.